Oddly Correct got started out of a dissatisfaction of working with entities that were not willing to put quality first. And it was not an angry frustration, but an opportunity to begin something that we could get behind 100% in terms of philosophy and culture and quality and practice.
So I'm Mike.
I'm Gregory.
And we work at Oddly Correct. I think for both of us, even though at different times, coffee was something that we kind of fell into in other parts of our lives. And once you had reached a point where you knew you wanted to kind of create a culture around the workplace that you could really get behind, coffee is just what made sense to do it with.
Mm-hmm. And coffee was our career.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, for me it was 2007, and I had just basically gotten off the road playing music and got a gig working at a coffee shop in North Carolina, and just kind of fell in love with that. Once I realized that it could be more than just a fix, like actually fresh, good coffee, it got hooked on how deep that can go.
Mm-hmm. And there's something transformational about quality coffee where it does go beyond just that. It's not less than just a cup of coffee, but a beautiful cup with a beautiful person in that transaction can be a really transformative thing. It can change the way you think about the world and your days. That's what it is. And I moved to Kansas City. The job I was working at in North Carolina, we left and decided, we said like we're leaving the hills for culture, it was a beautiful, beautiful place, and I think you could still smoke in the hardware store when we were there, which is not a bad thing. It's just not something we wanted to do. But Kansas City was like, it's an entrepreneurial town, so when I came here, I worked for another company for 2 years, and that was kind of the final blow, going from like international corporate known coffee that you all know, and then going to like a small business, and then that business getting purchased, going kind of public, and then coming to Kansas City to work at this company which was focused on growth, and which you have to be. But Kansas City was a beautiful place at the time. It was kind of the Wild West for coffee because there were maybe 3 coffee roasters in town. And so that timing really was perfect for another one to show up. You know, 2020 notwithstanding, our families could be part of this. They would come and hang out and do whatever. I think running a business over the past decade has like shattered some illusions we had in a good way, mm-hmm. about people and business, and even the businesses that we like turned from and pivoted to do this thing. I think we understand even more clearly why you do what you do, and sometimes why you do what you have to do. And I think it's beautiful. The things that haven't changed, even though the context and the surroundings and we've changed actually, which is really fun. What's changed for you?
I mean, I think in a broad sense, I think we've just matured in that a lot of times we were just thinking about what we were doing, and like specifically like setting lots of like really clear boundaries about what it is we do and what it is we don't do, and then I think as we matured, we dipped more into like, well, why are we even doing this? Like what's important to us? Like what makes it worthwhile to have our doors open? And I think the more that we like figured that out and realized like, what we really care about is actually like having a space that through the medium of coffee, like we can welcome people in, let them be seen, and like feel like important, you know, and experience something beautiful, you know, whether that's through like really good coffee, or like like engaging them with art, or even just like making something in their day feel like different and special. So that's led to things like, you know, we were known for not having cream or sugar for a long time, and those are things that we've moved on because we realized, even though we still deep in our hearts believe that like black coffee is better, we're never going to get the opportunity to like share that with someone if we're just telling them no and giving them signals that like you don't belong here, you know. So yeah, we've like moved a lot of fences out, and they matured in that way, and two, I think we've grown a lot in just figuring out like how do we build a culture that doesn't just have the outcomes of like the outcomes that we want for our company, but like healthy support for those things. Yeah.
What are our hopes? Yeah, we like to say small but mighty, you know, and the culture that we want to facilitate is one of liberty and flexibility and creativity. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to be able to do some of that, even 10 years in, as a company.
Mm-hmm.